And now, a closer look.
A sleepy morning, we're out in the boondocks. Stories being told on the radio.
Today's segment is titled Hot Dogs and the American Dream.
Hot dog, you say you're really coming back. Hot dog, I'm waiting at the railroad track. Hot dog, you say you're coming home for good. Hot dog, I'm gonna keep on knocking wood, baby. I can hardly wait. I'm gonna meet you at the gate. Hot dog, I fell in love with you when you went away, but now you're coming home to stay. Hot dog, soon everything will be alright. Hot dog, we're gonna have a ball tonight. I got a pocket full of dimes. It's gonna be just like old times. Hot dog.
America's affinity for hot dogs goes back, way back, as far as the New York World's Fair in 1853, when hot dog vendors prepared and sold warm wieners with assorted toppings for the public at large. The folks here in Munich can relate. Home to the world's largest fun fair, around 6.5 million visitors flocked to Munich the last week of September and the first week of October for the Oktoberfest. Besides broadcasting statistics of serving almost 8 million liters of extra-strong Oktoberfest beer, there's around 500,000 roasted chickens served and an estimated 250,000 sausages, what the locals call Wurst and Americans proudly call the hot dog.
I'm going down south, eat out of town, looking for a man by the name of Sam. He's got good hot dogs. Oh, he's got good hot dogs. Oh, he's got good hot dogs. Honey in his hot dog stand. You can drink your coffee, eat your jelly roll, but if you taste Sam's hot dog, it'll satisfy your soul, 'cause he's got good hot dogs. Oh, he's got good hot dogs. Oh, he's got good hot dogs. Honey in his hot dog stand. Sam makes a plenty of money and spends it fast. Women don't do nothing but sit on the yes, 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 and wait for Sam's hot dog. Oh, and wait for Sam's hot dog. Oh, they wait for Sam's hot dog.
Although hot dog vendors can be readily found on the street corners of the big cities like New York or Chicago, hungry entrepreneurs in pursuit of their American dream can be found all across America, hawking their piping hot wursts, sausages, and hot dogs. Today, we have several hot dog vendors willing to share with you their individual stories of how hot dogs fueled their pursuit of the American dream. To believe in your dreams creates that fire for cooking those hot dogs. On the phone, I have Rebecca Spires from Rebecca's Dancin Dogs, hot dog vendor in Nashville, Tennessee, the second largest city in Tennessee. Rebecca, are you there?
I am, thank you.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
What's it like being in Nashville, Tennessee? Do you see many other hot dog vendors, or are you the only one?
Oh, I am not the only one, Dan. It is quickly becoming a very popular business to get into, and I can count anywhere from 15 to 30 hot dog stands on a given Friday or Saturday night in the downtown Nashville area.
Really?
So there are a bunch of us.
Was it always that way, or is it just organically growing?
No, from what I understand, no, it has not always been that way. It's just kind of started to pop up and become more and more popular in the last 2 years, I'd say. People realize that America loves hot dogs.
Hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet.
Sounds about right.
Let me ask you something. You're not originally from Nashville, Tennessee. Where are you originally from?
I was born and raised in Southern California.
It never rains
and when
in Southern
I was
California.
17 years old, My grandmother sold her ranch, which was in Paso Robles, California, and bought a smaller farm in Adair County, Kentucky. Magical location. It's in the center of the state. And the thing that I love about it the most is that it is about a 2-hour drive, give or take, to the 4 major metropolitan cities in the area. And those would be Nashville, Tennessee, Knoxville, Tennessee, Lexington, Kentucky, and Louisville, Kentucky. These cities are great. They're all growing. The economy is good there. Well, as good as the economy is in the United States right now. And they grow in this kind of circular pattern. So it's more like the spoke on a wheel. You know, initially they were started from migrating in from these smaller communities out, and now the cities are growing and they're migrating out, but they're still in this kind of circular motion. So I anticipate that farm in the next 15 to 20 years is going to become exponentially more valuable, much more valuable real estate.
When you moved from California to Kentucky, what made you want to get your own hot dog cart and start to be a hot dog vendor?
Well, I had always been in the food and beverage industry, so I am in service and customer service. I love it. I love taking good care of people. And I would like very much to be able to operate my own business. However, starting out, I don't come from a family that has money, so I have to make this work on my own. And through research, I found that the mobile hot dog vending business is reasonable to get into. So the cost is nominal when you think about starting your own business. And also, I don't have the money or the revenue to be able to have employees and actually pay employees. So I had to find something that I could do on my own without assistance from anyone else. I have kind of a 5-year plan.
Okay.
And then have generated enough revenue from sales to be able to strike out and grow and go bigger.
Okay, so what's your plan for going bigger?
Well, I mentioned my grandmother's farm and its wonderful location. My plan is to take the old farmhouse and renovate it, become a bed and breakfast, and I would like for the farm to provide the food for that bed and breakfast. I'm very interested in alternative resources for energy. I'd like a windmill, definitely go with solar panels. I want to concentrate on creating a wedding destination where I will heavily market in the 4 cities surrounding the farm, and then I would have available for the bride and groom to choose from a plethora of options. They could have a gorgeous outdoor wedding, they could have a barn wedding, and then it would be all-inclusive, all on the same facility, making it very convenient for the bride and groom.
Sounds like a wonderful plan. Tell me about how many different hot dogs do you sell on your cart?
Well, that's interesting. I initially started out with just the jumbo dog, but I quickly learned that one size does not fit all.
Okay.
So I have a small beef dog and a jumbo beef dog, and then I've chosen one sausage, and I go with the bratwurst.
Hooray! Rebecca Spires. We have a village here in Germany that's one of the, I think, the oldest city in Germany called Speyer. You have German roots?
That's true. I'm excited to say that part of my lineage and history is German on my paternal side.
So do you make a really mean bratwurst? You make a really good bratwurst?
I make an excellent bratwurst. And I mentioned earlier that there are 30-plus hot dog vendors in downtown Nashville. Having so much competition has really made me stretch my imagination, and part of that is my selection of toppings. I offer twice as many as the rest of the vendors in town, and every city has their own statutes regarding mobile vending. We are not allowed to serve chili, which is a staple on a hot dog. So I thought outside the box there, and I decided that I could create a sauce that has the flavor of chili, but doesn't have the things that our health department has the problem with, which is the meat and the beans. They claim that they are more susceptible to bacteria, and that's why they won't allow us to serve chili. So I have created an outlaw sauce, is what I'm calling it, which has the flavor of chili without the things that the health department has the problem with. People are loving it. It's going really well, so I'm excited.
Sounds good. Rebecca, I really thank you for taking the time speaking with us today. Good luck with your long-term plans. Sounds like you've got
Thank you so much.
a vision.
Have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you.
Now here's a hot dog for your roll.
It must be hot, I don't want it cold.
My dog's never cold.
Give me a big one, that's what I say. I want it so it will fit my bread.
Now here's a hot dog for your roll.
Now is it young, I don't want it old.
You know my dog's never old.
I sure will be disgusted if this dog game full of mustard don't want no excuse. It must have lots of juice. I want a hot dog for my roll.
Hot dog man is gone. I'm gone, hot dogs.
How does one go from being an aerospace engineer to creating that first hot dog dream? Let's listen to the story of O'Doggies. On the phone, I have Corey Lawrence from O'Doggies in Rolla, Missouri. Corey, are you there?
Yes, I am. How are you doing today?
Very well. And yourself?
Doing very well.
Can you help tell our listeners exactly where is Rolla, Missouri?
Rolla, Missouri is almost directly in the center of Missouri, in between Springfield and St. Louis, if you're familiar with Missouri.
Back in 2011, you and your wife, Susan, started selling hot dogs from a cart on the streets of Rolla. Before getting into this business, you were actually in the aerospace industry. Is that correct?
I've been working in aerospace 15 to 20 years. I started out just as a machinist, worked my way up and doing programming, and just stayed real busy behind the desk the last several years of it. After 2 years working for them and building their aerospace division, they just came in one day and decided that they were going to call it quits and they weren't going to do aerospace anymore. So it was just on a Monday, that was the end of our job. And as it turned out, previously to that happening, I had found a hot dog cart ad online, and it was fairly local to us, and it kind of intrigued me. And so we bought the hot dog cart, initially just to use with our church to give away hot dogs. It was initially just that first hot dog cart is kind of what piqued my interest in the whole industry. And through Facebook, I just kind of ran into a group of other people that were like-minded, that had started hot dog businesses. I wasn't even aware that it was such a booming industry, I guess you'd call it. And I talked my wife into getting to where we could maybe build one of my own, which took some talking. She thought I was crazy. But she finally said, yeah, go ahead and build your hot dog cart. I think she did it just so it'd shut me up, you know. So I started ordering all the components to build my own hot dog cart. They showed up on that Thursday and Friday, and it was that following Monday then that I lost the aerospace job. And so I took a month and built my first hot dog cart, and the rest, they say, is history.
How long was it before that you actually expanded into a small concession trailer?
We had shut down at Christmas time, and winter hit, and it got pretty bad, but we had found someone here locally that had a concession trailer, and we bought it from them, and we opened it up in January. So really, I guess we used the original cart for 8 months, I guess, and then that's when we moved into the concession trailer after that. Going from the cart to the trailer, it just allowed us to hold more product. We do a fresh-baked bun that we pick up from a bakery here in town. For a year and a half, then we used the trailer, and then there was actually some new construction going on the same street where we were set up all the time, where they were building a new building. And before they even got it completed, the owner of that building had actually approached us about renting part of their building. I mean, it was on the same street, just 3 blocks away from where we already were set up all the time. So after a lot of contemplation of whether or not we wanted to make that kind of move, we decided we'd go ahead and give it a try, and it has been incredible. I mean, honestly, I never would have guessed a few years ago that I would not be doing aerospace work anymore and that I would be selling hot dogs, but it's the best job I've ever had. I mean, it really is. I get to talk to people every day, and, you know, all our customers, they're family to us. I mean, friends and family, every one of them.
You actually get involved with charity organizations.
From the very first day we hit the streets, we have donated 100% of our tips go to a local charity, the Friday Backpack Program. Just like a lot of places, there's just a lot of underprivileged children. And there were some teachers in our local schools here that had noticed that on Mondays, of all days, a lot of the students that were in class, they would be distracted all morning, not paying attention in class, and they would just be asking all the time, you know, when is lunch going to be? When is lunch going to be? And they found out that a lot of these children really weren't getting much food over the weekend. And throughout the week, usually their only meal that they would get every day would be their lunch meal at school. And so a lady here locally has started this charity. They teamed up with several of the teachers. They will collect food, and then there's certain foods that would be easy for school-age children to make for themselves. So on a Thursday night, they pack a bunch of backpacks full of food, and then they hang them up on their hangers at school, and they know which children need them. And so Friday, each one of these children get a backpack, nondescript, so other kids don't know what's going on. They get a backpack that goes home with them every Friday that's filled up with food for them to eat over the weekend. And I think they've been doing it for about 5 years locally. And over that time frame, they have noticed that grades have improved, that their nourishment and just their overall health has improved. It's made such an incredible difference with a lot of children here locally. And so there's a lot of charities out there, and there's a lot of great ones out there, but for us, it was one that's right here in Rolla, Missouri, that we get to help people. So we just never know when we're going to be on the opposite end of that, you know, and so we've always just been a proponent to help out whenever we can. We do a deal here at O'Doggies we call Pay a Meal Forward, and we will have people come in, and they'll say, hey, we'd like to pay a meal forward. Either if you know somebody that when they come in that looks like they may need a little help with paying for their meal, we would like to do that. And so we get to give away meals to people. Sometimes you can definitely tell that someone's scraping every last little penny to pay for a hot dog, and we're able to bless them with a whole meal. We have an online store where people from across the country have actually contributed to and bought meals for people they don't even know. O'Doggies has been very fortunate to be able to help people out. That's why I say it's probably the best job I've ever had.
Amen. Corey, I want to thank you. Your story is very inspiring.
Well, thank you, Dan, for giving me the opportunity to share our story. We really appreciate it.
Have a great day.
He's a real live hero, everybody knows. I'd like to see him on a TV show. It must have been around since the world began. Yeah, he's a hot dog man. Yeah, he's a man, he's a man, he's a hot dog man. Yeah, he's a hot dog man, hot dog man. Yeah, he's a man, hot dog man. He's a man, hot dog man.
Here's what one woman did when she hit the corporate glass ceiling. On the phone, I have Desiree Schluz from Schluz's Derwitos and Dawgs. That's spelled D-A-W-G-S in Berwick, Pennsylvania. Desiree, are you there?
That's me. How are you, Dan?
Wonderful. Did I say the name of your stand correct?
It's Derwitos and Dogs. We're in Berwick, Pennsylvania, so that's where the burrito came in. And the local football team, which is big up here, are the Bulldogs.
Ah, okay. So that all makes sense.
Yep.
How far of a drive are you from New York City, just to give our listeners a little perspective?
About 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours northwest of New York City?
That's correct.
You're more or less in the heart of what they call the Blue Mountain?
That is true. It is gorgeous, gorgeous country up here. Great for bike rides and fall foliage and all that good stuff.
And hot dogs.
And hot dogs.
So tell me about your hot dogs. You weren't always in the hot dog vending business, no?
I was not. I was raised by a second-generation American whose dream was for me to go to college and be that generation that finished college in America for the first time and went on to be professionals and had an easy office job because that's how they saw it. And I did, and I followed all those rules, and it was okay.
So, but you really did work your way up the corporate ladder, didn't you?
I really did. At one point, I was vice president of a bank in New York City, yeah.
Did you have some sort of a retirement dream to do something with hot dogs and travel, or?
My husband and I, between us, we have 4 children, and they are spaced all over the country.
Okay.
We have one in California, one in Georgia, one in Florida, and one in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Now grandchildren are coming along. So yes, our retirement dream was to grab us an RV and start driving around and spend a few months here, a few months there, and get to see everybody within each year. We thought we'll get some kind of a little hot dog cart and we'll go do festivals, getting to spend time in each state where our children live. And again, that was way in the future. And when we moved up to Berwick, Pennsylvania, I didn't really know what I wanted to do up here, but we knew, being New Yorkers, that there was not a good hot dog or burrito around. And then I met a woman from the local farmers market, and they were looking to bring in their first food vendor. And I said, well, let me call you back on that. I may know someone. And my husband and I talked about it, and then I did some research, and that's how I met Ben Wilson online. Ben Wilson owns benscarts.com.
Okay.
And wrote, I think his book is How Hot Dogs Saved My Life, so that was an intriguing title. I did not read the book, I'll confess, but I have seen his videos, and one of the most impressive things about Ben was that when I called his company early one morning, he answered himself.
Nice.
And we talked, and he answered all my questions, and I felt that the support from, believe it or not, the hot dog community and Ben's company was sufficient enough where that we could take the chance and jump into this thing. So we did, and we started 3 months ago. And now, a week ago, we were down in Hershey, Pennsylvania, checking out some RVs and rearranging our retirement plans, where this looks like this thing might be happening for us a lot sooner than we ever thought it could.
Don't you have food and beverage in your blood? Didn't your
My
grandmother
and her mother, my great-grandmother, ran a bar and grill in Brooklyn, New York.
Nice.
From pre-World War II right up until the late 1970s. They were down by the Navy Yard down on 50th and 2nd Avenue. Yeah, they have photos of the last day of World War II. They survived Prohibition. So they had quite a history down there. And my grandmother would take me with her sometimes, and I would love that opportunity. And they had a little chair in the kitchen, and I'd better stay in it. And I would watch them slicing and cooking and serving and interacting with the customers, and I just thought this was the greatest thing.
So do you have plans to do this with your grandchildren as you travel around the U.S. in your RV and hot dog stand?
That's funny that you said that. My grandchildren are real small right now, but I have nieces and nephews who are approaching their early teen years, and I started thinking to myself, wouldn't it be great to have so-and-so come with us 1 year, and then, 2 years later, the other one will be that age, and what a fun opportunity to have a kid come with you and travel and work and eat and meet people. It may be for some of them, it may not be for others, but if any of them are like me, they'll love it.
What's your favorite hot dog that you create and sell?
Holy cow, I can't believe you asked me that, but just this weekend we did a private event and threw one out there for the fall that we thought would be a comfort food, and it was a huge hit, and we're going to keep going with it and take it to our festivals, and it is called the Sour Mash.
The Sour Mash.
Yep. And
tell me what's in it.
It's a premium pork and beef hot dog, jumbo-sized,
okay,
on a great locally baked at Tuesday's Bakery roll that we put mashed potatoes and sauerkraut on top of it and made it into a meal.
It's a hot dog and a meal in one.
And they loved them. They gobbled them up.
How many different hot dogs do you sell?
We have a habit of working with the theme of the event we're doing. Like we have a zombie-thon marathon coming up, so we're going to do some gory-looking hot dogs for that. We've done Mexican venues where we've done a lot of tropical slaws and pineapple-y, spicy toppings. So we change our toppings depending on where we're going to be to fit the mood.
Running a hot dog cart I've never done, so I don't know. You'll have to tell me and our listeners. But it's more than just showing up for work and selling hot dogs. There's a lot of preparation work going on.
It's a lot of work. Any food services, it's 24/7. And if you're not shopping, you're marketing, you're thinking, you're planning. What can we do? What would be great for this? Like I just told you with the toppings, and fillings that we alter them for events. So you're constantly thinking ahead. And cleaning up and setting up takes time. So your 4-hour stint in an afternoon really is an 8-hour day. I found, while there were certainly rewards to corporate work, for me it was generally not rewarding. And this, talking to people and getting to know my customers and seeing them enjoy something that you create in a country where we don't make things anymore and we don't produce and we don't really generally get to see the happiness on the receiving end. And now I do, and just enjoy these people, and I enjoy making them say, wow, that was delicious.
Desiree, I thank you for taking time to speak with us today.
Dan, it was my pleasure.
Have a great day.
Ventura Highway in the sunshine, where the days are longer, the nights are stronger than moonshine. You're gonna go, I know. Oh, 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 oh. 'Cause a free wind is blowing through your hair, and the days surround your daylight there. Seasons crying, no despair. Alligator lizards in the air.
Going from bureau chief to providing the highest level of customer service on the side of the road. On the phone, I have Gordon McCleary from Flying Papi Hot Dogs, a roadside hot dog vendor in Crawfordville, Florida. Mr. Gordon McCleary, are you there?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to talk to you, too. First, let's tell our listeners and give our listeners a visual picture of where you are.
We're in the panhandle of Florida, about 25-30 minutes away from Tallahassee, Florida.
And how far from the ocean?
Well, the Gulf of Mexico is about 7 minutes away from our house.
Just about the same time it takes to eat a hot dog.
7.3 minutes. You got that right, Dan.
You grab a hot dog and go to the beach.
That's right. That's where a lot of the hot dogs are sold, is right down by the beach.
Who would have known? You weren't always a hot dog vendor.
Actually, I've been a hot dog vendor for about 4.5 months now. And before that, I was what we call a suit and tie guy down here in the city of Tallahassee, working for a pretty large state organization as a bureau chief.
What was the stress level like?
Well, it was a high stress level. State government these days, they're always looking to cut where they need to cut, so we're trying to do a lot with not much. And when you're in a state job like that, you're dealing with politics all the time. So you've got people that have been elected in office, and you've got 3 or 4 years to run in their agenda. And then if they get out of the office the next term, then whoever else replaces them, they have another agenda they want to run by. So it's a very stressful situation as you get up there in management to try to make sure that you're getting the best for the people that you represent. I always thought in my career here, as wearing a suit and tie and running to work, that I really wasn't accomplishing much in my life in terms of what I'm doing and sharing the American dream like so many other Americans have. Accepting a check that's from taxpayers that are paying me for doing a job downtown, wearing my suit and tie and whatnot, but the true feeling of being an American and starting my own business. So, I was joked going into meetings when things got stressful that, I'm going to just leave this job and open up a hot dog stand on the side of the road, and people would laugh. But I followed that dream, and, it came a reality. And the one thing that's driving me here is that there's a different level of communication with people when you're sitting on the side of the road serving really good food, good hot dogs, and they come and they want one and they want to talk to you about what's going on in life. You do that for a couple of days and you realize There's a whole new world out there that I wasn't experiencing when I was wearing my suit and tie. I feel like I'm part of the human race again, being out here, and it's just amazing. It's a great turnover for me.
A little birdie told me that you just were awarded from the local Chamber of Commerce Best Startup Business of the Year. Is that true?
Yeah, so we are very excited with that. One of our goals here was what we do business to business, making sure that, for instance, we just don't get regular hot dog buns to put on our hot dogs. We contacted the local bakery here, and we get our buns baked every morning, and we use that as part of our product, giving it to the customers. We also do as much locally here as we can to help with the local economy, and I think that was one of the reasons why that we were voted in as the startup business. We're very excited.
How many different hot dogs do you serve?
9 different types of hot dogs, toppings, all the way from chili dog to the New York-style hot dog to the Chicago-style hot dog. We have a Wakulla hot dog, which is the name for the county. We have a Grand Papi, which is a foot-long hot dog. We have a Big Papi. And then we have what I think you'd like, Dan, being over there in Germany. We have the sauerkraut and spicy mustard dog, which is very popular down here. But the one thing that sells down here more than any other hot dog we have is the Chicago dog. It's people down in little old Wakulla County here love the Chicago dog, and we have very good success with that.
What is on a Chicago dog, and what
kind
of beef or what kind of dog?
On the Chicago dog, we have a tomato. We're also putting relish on there. We're putting what's called a sport pepper on there. Mustard, only mustard. You can't put ketchup on. Actually, people in Chicago will tell you can't put ketchup on a hot dog, period. There's some places in Chicago where you go and you have a hot dog and you go to the ketchup dispenser and you hit it and it dispenses mustard. So they're pretty serious about that.
Okay.
So a little bit of onion. I think what puts it all together is a sprinkling of celery salt, and that really works on that hot dog.
Wow.
And don't forget the pickle spear, which goes on top of that. It's become a very popular dog down here for us, and people love it. They come back for more and more and more. We're going to get a T-shirt that says 7 days without a hot dog makes 1 week. That's going to be our motto.
So you develop a relationship with your customers. Do you develop friendships with your customers?
You hit it right there in terms of friendship, because they come. We had to actually order a couple of chairs and a table for our roadside setup because we've got people that want to come, and not just to buy a hot dog. Part of being a vendor is the presentation of the hot dog, how the hot dog looks, what you say as you're making the hot dog, and how you react as you hand the hot dog over, and talk to people like they're human, and talk to them like you really, and we are very deeply interested in what they do. We ask everybody what they do. I mean, I was struck the other day that we had a veteran come up, and he was a Purple Heart veteran. He was in there for 17 years, and he's retired. And he sat down, and he had his hot dog, and he wanted to share with us exactly all his trials and tribulations as he was in the service.
So it sounds to me that you have low stress, probably. Do you have low overhead?
I would say that the startup cost is pretty expensive. $10,000, I would say, was probably the startup cost for getting things up and running, getting advertising out there, buying the truck, finding a good truck.
When your truck is fully loaded, how many people could it serve?
We could probably feed anywhere from 800 to 1,000 people, depending on the event, or more if there's a larger event. We would just have a trailer full of buns and hot dogs and drinks and all that. We've been doing this for a little bit over 4 months, and we're looking at the business plan takes us to keep this going for another 6, 7, 8 months or so, and then looking at potentially moving into a brick-and-mortar facility, probably right here in the county, and then still keeping the truck for catering events and such. That's where we want to go.
My question to you, are you happy?
Very. More than I have been. At age 55, happier today than I ever have been. It's phenomenal.
Hot dog.
Hot dog!
Gordon, thank you so much. It's been a wonderful pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you, Dan. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Think about the two hot dogs. I came back to the party, yo. I just wanted to dance. When a cute little girl came straight my way. You know what she said? She said, hey boy, I'm hungry, but I need to find some food. I say, you better go across the street and tell that funky black dude to give you 2 hot dogs, ow, and a strawberry soda. To give you 2 hot dogs, hey, one more time, fellas. To give him 2 hot dogs, ow, and strawberry soda. Well, to give you 2 hot dogs and a strawberry soda. Too much, too much, too much, too much on the one.
I truly hope you have enjoyed traveling with us today throughout the USA, as each of these hot dog vendors share their individual stories of their pursuit of the American dream, some of which included inspirational altruistic acts, like giving their tips, or what we call here drinkgeld, for feeding disadvantaged school children over the weekends with their specially designed Friday Backpack program, coordinated by the Hope Alliance of Missouri, and that innovative concept of paying a meal forward for someone, perhaps a stranger, who may be down on their luck needing a warm meal, or even the simple act of providing a table and chair and lending one's ear to actively listen to another tell their story. The next time you find yourself hungry in America for a quick culinary delight, you might want to consider tracking down one of these street vendors and order up a hot dog with your favorite toppings. Tell them I sent you. On behalf of the folks here at Radio LORA, if you're looking for a way to put a smile on your face, try saying these 2 words: hot dog.